Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. You are envious of Lord Shiva, who is the friend of all living entities within the three worlds. For the common man, he fulfills all desires, and because of their engagement in thinking of his lotus feet, he also blesses higher personalities who are seeking after Brahmananda, transcendental bliss. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Ordinarily, there are two classes of men. One class who are grossly materialistic, want material prosperity, and their desires are fulfilled if they worship Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, being very quickly satisfied, satisfies the material desires of the common man very quickly. Therefore, it is seen that ordinary men are very much apt to worship him. Next, those who are disgusted or frustrated with the materialistic way of life worship Lord Shiva to attain salvation, which entails freedom from material identification. One who understands that he is not the material body but his spirit soul is liberated from ignorance. Lord Shiva also offers that facility. People generally practice religion for economic development to get some money, for by getting money they can satisfy their senses. But when they are frustrated, they want spiritual Brahmananda or merging into the Supreme. These four principles of material life, religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation exist. And Lord Shiva is a friend of both the ordinary man and the man who is elevated in spiritual knowledge. Thus, it was not good for Daksha to create enmity towards him. Even Vaishnavas, who are above both the ordinary and the elevated men in this world, also worship Lord Shiva as the greatest Vaishnava. Thus, he is the friend of everyone, the common man, the elevated man, and the devotees of the Lord. So, no one should disrespect or create enmity towards Lord Shiva. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकल्मनं श्रीकृष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं साग्ररघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् साग्रललिता श्रीविशाखावितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे लाचल निवास नित्य परमात्मनि बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां Jagannathaya te namaः. Thank you so much for joining this wonderful Sangha. Today, we are discussing a very beautiful dialogue between a father and a daughter, a dialogue wherein the daughter, being elevated and conscious, daughter Sati, elevated and conscious about the Supreme, and her husband is advising, or rather discussing to her father Daksha, that how the father Daksha should not inculcate or arouse that enmity to Lord Shiva. And here in this dialogue, in this beautiful dialogue between a daughter and a father, Sati and Daksha, there is some beautiful interactions about how different people take resort to Lord Shiva. What kind of people resort to Lord Shiva? And based on that, people make some wrong judgment about Lord Shiva. So here, Srila Prabhupada has gone ahead and spoken about three kinds of people: the common man, the elevated man, and the devotees of the Lord. How all the three are linked and take blessings from Lord Shiva in their pursuit of elevating or doing their sadhana or advancing in whatever they are. So, because common man tend to take blessings from Lord Shiva or take help from Lord Shiva, there's always that misunderstanding that Lord Shiva is somehow smaller in others. And that is a basic misunderstanding we are trying to discuss today in this topic, which is a very beautiful topic of a what a dialogue between a daughter and father should be. If you all have daughters, sometimes daughters indulge in very unique and very creative ways of explaining things to the father. And here, Mother Sati is going to the extent of explaining the traits of Lord Shiva, which we all should recognize and inculcate. And And here there are some critical things where Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, is saying Vishwa Bandhave. That means Lord Shiva is the friend of all living entities within the three worlds. He's the friend of everyone, and 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 he is a friend of the common man, the elevated man, and the Vaishnavas. And 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 because of that, Mother Sati is saying to Father Daksha that you should not brew enmity toward Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is the friend of all living entities within the three worlds, and he fulfills all the desires. And because of their engagement in thinking of his lotus feet, he also blesses higher personality. So today, in this beautiful dialogue, we are going to take some examples, and the three or four examples are right in front of you, wherein in the left you have Arjuna uh, during the time of his incognito is praying to Lord Shiva to gain some weapons. And how Lord Shiva responds to Arjuna, we're going to discuss. Here, Lord Shiva is helping a Kshatriya. On the right, you see Prachetas seeking blessings, and where Lord Shiva arrives and tells Prachetas as to how you should aspire to get the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that culminates into something which is called Rudra Gita, which is uh, the dialogue between Lord Shiva and Prachetas as to how to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari. And and Lord Shiva is known as Hara, right? And how Hara unites the devotees or aspirants with Hari. So Hara uniting devotees with Hari is something which is very common. And in the bottom of this slide, you see Ravana, who is standing in one leg and praying to Lord Shiva for benefits. So anybody and everybody in this context we are discussing is is helping their recourse by trying to reach Lord Shiva and seeking help. So, going back to the first picture you saw, Arjuna. Arjuna was a warrior, and a warrior always seeks to enhance his armory. So he was looking for specific weapons. Krishna recommended to Arjuna that in your collection of armory, you should seek certain arms and weapons. As you may be hearing, there is a uh, uh, there is some interaction going on between different countries, wherein the sophisticated weapon a country possesses seeks, uh, makes them winner at the end. Likewise, Arjuna was seeking some specific weapons, and those weapons were, uh, and so Arjuna was praying to Lord Shiva to gain Pashupat Astra, which is a very uh, advanced weapon, and it can kill the enemy with precision. And uh, also there are references about a weapon which can uh, induce serpent-like activities or nagafasa, they say. So because Arjuna was a very talented and very focused Kshatriya, he was in the forest during the incognito time after the Vanvas, was praying to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva came as a hunter to test Arjuna, who was trying to get blessings from Lord Shiva and acquire those weapons, and challenged Arjuna during that interaction. A fight, or rather, a, a duel, broke out between Arjuna and Lord Shiva. And finally, Arjuna could recognize that this hunter is not an ordinary hunter. He is a very powerful personality. And finally, he recognized that it is Lord Shiva who is trying to test him. And he paid obeisances. And finally, Lord Shiva gave him the weapons Arjuna was desiring to add to his armory, which he used to good effect during the Mahabharata war. And Lord Shiva was helping a ordinary, I mean, not just a, seeker of the supreme, but rather a Kshatriya who was trying to advance his abilities. Uh, very deep pastime in the sense that how Lord Shiva helps his devotees. And also, Prachetas, the 10 Prachetas, were performing tapa to get darshan of, and during the interaction, Lord Shiva gave the Prachetas Rudra Gita, where Lord Shiva explained that Narayan is the ultimate goal to reach, which you saw in that picture. And that cleared a lot of doubts in the mind of Prachetas. And that interaction, as you can see here, there is a seeker who is trying to advance, and there also Lord Shiva helps. Kshatriya trying to advance, Lord Shiva helps. And the third example we're going to take today is Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan Goswami, 500 years ago, he's one of the 6 Goswamis. We see Sanatan Goswami in the altar every day. So he was doing bhajan at Manasiganga, a very sacred lake in Vrindavan, where he used to do his bhajan kutir. But he was constantly disturbed by many mosquitoes, and uh, and those mosquitoes were interfering in Sanatan Goswami's ability to concentrate on worship. And Sanatan Goswami wanted to move to a different place, leaving that place of Vrindavan, thinking that if the bhajan is disturbed, the service to Radha Krishna is not perfect. So the purpose of devotional service is to bring pleasure to the Supreme Lord, Radha and Krishna. But if that environment is not conducive, why he would stay in that place? And that's when Lord Shiva intervened in the sense Lord Shiva came in his dreams and asked. Lord Shiva at that time is present around that area as Chakleshwar Mahadev, and he came in the dream of Sanatan Goswami and asked him to just stay for one day and see if there is any change in the situation. Lord Shiva, also it is mentioned, he comes as a Brahman and approached Sanatan Goswami and asked him, he was planning to go, and Sanatan Goswami said mosquitoes are troubling him and he would like to leave that area, Manasiganga area, and leave somewhere else because his sadhana is getting affected. And the Brahman, Lord Shiva in disguise, requested Sanatan Goswami to stay for one night and there will be no mosquito. And Lord Shiva, in divine capacity, ordered all the mosquitoes and insects not to disturb Sanatan Goswami at Manasiganga. And after that, there was no mosquito in that area for Sanatan Goswami, and he could lead a life of bhajan and kirtan and could please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And also, on the contrary, Lord Shiva is very, very dear to his devotees without recognizing the long term outcome. And Ravan, who was a big devotee of Lord Shiva, was doing penance in one leg, and how Lord Shiva helped him in giving all the boons, but limited enough so that he can not be a monster forever. And he left an outlet for Lord to come in. So, from this interaction, it appears that Lord Shiva is favorable to negative personalities, which is why it is often a misunderstood trait. Actually, there are two tattvas in this world, which is very often misunderstood. They are Guru Tattva. There are many times the position of Guru is not well understood by his disciples and devotees, and likewise, the Shiva Tattva or the placement or the position of Lord Shiva is very much misunderstood by many. It is often misunderstood by Vaishnavas as well, as to in light of trying to be favorable to uh, the the Vishnu Tattva, often devotees fail to understand the importance of Lord Shiva in our sadhana's life, in our ability to progress, and that is that is it is recommended that kind of uh, those kind of methods of worship or fellowship should be should not be adhered to, and Lord Shiva is a topmost Vaishnava. So it is often compared Lord Hari as milk, from whom the curd with the connection of acid to milk arrives. So Lord Hara is compared with curd, and Hari is compared with milk. From milk, curd emanates with the combination of the material uh, elements, in this case, material material items, material elements, in this case, lemon or acid. But from curd, milk doesn't come. So the origin or the source of this has to be clear in everyone's mind. But milk and curd are independent entities in the sense that they have benefits in their own ways. And that is why in the minds of devotees, they both of these milk and curd need not be undermined. And 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 as long as the devotee understands the importance of Lord Shiva, as Mother Sati is telling to Daksha, from which we can all learn that Lord Shiva is a friend of the three worlds, of all the living entities. Not everybody needs to be at a higher level to understand Lord Shiva. That's why Lord Shiva is accessible to one and all. Lord Shiva is so down to earth that his the prayers offered to, the standards offered to Lord Shiva is often the cause why people who are common, who do not seek to, you know, regulative principles, often go after. And gradually it's a process of cleansing as to after learning the. But Lord Shiva is not, should not be understood that Lord Shiva is unregulated. Lord Shiva is always chanting the names of Hari. Lord Shiva is very much regulated. Just because he wears some skin as his robes and snake around his neck and ash around his body, we should not think that Lord Shiva is not regulated. Followers of Lord Shiva may not be regulated for they are simple individuals who have not found the Guru Tattva in their lives to transform. However, Lord Shiva is fully transformed. He is he is very much dear to Lord Hari, and he is Vaishnavanam Yatha Sambhu. He is the topmost Vaishnava. And and that is exactly what Mother Sati is advising Daksha, that a person who is the friend of all living entities and his friend of all the three worlds, and he is accessible to common man, and he fulfills the desires of the common man. And and in there, Srila Prabhupada also gave the examples of four Purusharthas in his purport. The four uh, Purusharthas are Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. And these four principles of material life, Dharma, religion; Artha, economic development, as Srila Prabhupada writes; Kama, sense gratification; and Moksha, liberation, exist. And Lord Shiva is the friend of ordinary men and men who is elevated. So anyone who is aspiring to gain dharma, religion, artha, some money, sense gratification, desires, and moksha, often people who wants to merge with the supreme uh, have that desire for all these four aspects, because everybody in this material world is aspiring for the four we just talked about: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. There is no one in this world who is not seeking this four. Everybody is seeking dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And as Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, for anyone who is desiring to get to one of these four purusharthas, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, Lord Shiva is there to help. So, just to summarize a couple of things before we end, we took the example of Arjuna, Prachetas, Ravan, and Sanatan Goswami as to how Lord Shiva helped them in their pursuit for the Supreme, or in their ability to excel in whatever they can. And also, from the purport, we discussed about the four Purusharthas. We all, everybody in this world aspires some way or other, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and how Lord Shiva helps in fulfilling the desire of the common man, elevated men. Common men often refers to Dharmartha, elevated man, uh, is Kama Moksha, and the Vaishnavas who are servants of the Lord, their examples where Lord Shiva helps them in their pursuit to achieve the supreme, and how that desire for dharma, artha, kama, moksha is satisfied. So, as a final closure, we all should place Lord Shiva in the right position and hope that Lord Shiva is not misunderstood in the life of a Vaishnava, as described by Mother Sati in her dialogue with her father, Daksha. So, with that, I'd like to end here. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Amajanatha. We'd like to wish everybody a safe and Krishna conscious day and weekend ahead. And we'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare. Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare. Jai Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jai Jai
Jana
Nrsimha,
Singha,
Praladesh,
Adisu Jaya
Jaya
Padma
Padma
Mukha
Mukha
Pradma
Pradma Lingam,
Vidyam, Ugram Veeram
Ugra
Mahavishnu
Veera
Jalantam
Mahavishnu,
Srivam
Jalantam
Jalantam
Sarvato
Sarvatomukha
Mukha, Nrsimham
Narsimham
Vishnu
Sriram
Vishnu
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 Bhadram
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 Mrityumriti
Namavi.
Namami
Nrsimh Bhagwan ki
Ki
Jai,
Jai
Maharaj ki
Jai.
Jai. Let's offer our humble obeisances to all decimal Vaishnavas,
Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa
Vanchakalpatarubhasya
Sindhu Bhavecha
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
Namo
Namaha
Namah
Vaishnavinda ki
Ki
Jai
Jai
Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Ki
Jai Srila
Jai
Prabhupada
Ki
ki
Jai.
uh, Coming Sunday is the most auspicious Nrsimha Chaturdasi, fasting till dusk. All day there'll be festivities. Our evening festivities will start sharp at 4 p.m. with Nrsimha Yagya. If you're not already sponsored and becoming Yajman, please do so. Nrsimha Yagya will start at 4 p.m. Then, followed by Abhishek on the altar and many programs happen. Nrsimha Katha, drama. So, please note down, but come sharp at 4 p.m. or before 4 p.m. There'll be a lot of services at the temple. The special cooking for Nrsimha Chaturdasi will start at Jayaprakash Prabhu.
1 o'clock.
Will start at 1 o'clock. So you're most welcome to serve in the kitchen or whatever service you want to do. Yeah. Anything else, Samesha Prabhu?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, those who are not sponsored, please sponsor and come early with the altar ready. Okay, thank you, Praji.
Yeah. All ready? Yep. And here, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everybody. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
everyone. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.